Father, we just thank you for tonight, God. Thank you for this gathering. God, we just pray you would send your Holy Spirit to lead us and guide us and direct us. God, we thank you for the opportunity to hear the voices of the candidates, to, God, know their hearts. God, we just pray that you would just bless each family that's represented here tonight. Thank you for traveling grace. God, we speak a blessing and a healing over the students, God, that had to be hospitalized today, God, that you would just have your way in that, God, and show yourself mighty. So we just thank you for tonight. Thank you for all that you're going to do, and take us home safely. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and say our pledges while you're standing. To the U.S. flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Hey, Missy. What a great turnout tonight. Thank you everybody for coming in. Again, go ahead and get yourself something to eat. We have plenty of food tonight and coffee and water in the back, so make yourself comfortable and at home. We are going to go ahead and start a little bit early tonight so that our state rep candidates and state rep can head to Liberty, to the Liberty Vindicator. They also have a forum this evening. There have been so many forums over the past 2 months. I know you guys are huffing and puffing, but you're doing a great job so far. Our moderator tonight will be Judge Jason Dunn. Thankfully, he's here with us tonight. We have a gift for him, and I'm going to go ahead and present that to you so y'all don't have to be tempted to eat his Valentine. And then also, we have a gift. If you are a lady, you're welcome. If you're a lady and you came in, you got a rose. And those roses are compliments of Judge Tracy Gilbert. And he didn't know I was going to do this, but he does this every year for us. You remember last year we had a first responder Valentine banquet last year. And again, he brought roses to us last year. So he actually called me and said, I'm bringing roses. How many do I need? So y'all be sure and tell him thank you. He's over what court are you in? 418th court. And so just thank you again. And you also have a gift. And we're going to do the same thing so he's not, y'all aren't tempted. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started.
And Holly, I'm the timekeeper, right? So I'll be.
All right, good afternoon, or good evening, I should say. My name is Jason Dunn. I'm the Justice of the Peace here in East Montgomery County. I want to thank the Republican women for hosting this forum. These are great opportunities for voters to come to get to know some of the candidates. As Ms. Holly said, tonight we're pressed for time because these three candidates here have to be over in Dayton. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet, the best that I can. I will say this. I've been to quite a few of these forums this year, and I want to say something. Most everyone in here are on the same team. You know, I can't get into all the political stuff, but I can assure you that we are all on the same team. You may like one candidate over another candidate, which is great, but at the end of the day, we are on the same team. So I just wanted to say that. It's like, if the Houston Astros can't win the Super Bowl, I mean, the World Series, I do know sports, I promise. Then, you know, we want the Texas Rangers to win, right? We don't want the New York Yankees to win. So the way the rules are going to work, I didn't print it out, so I'm going to read it off my phone. We have questions that were already submitted. Each candidate is going to have 2 minutes to answer a question. We will do a rebuttal if a candidate is named. That'd be like a 30-second rebuttal. Then we're going to do an opening statement of 3 minutes and a closing statement of 2 minutes. And I believe there are 4 questions. Are we doing audience questions or no? No time?
Probably because they have to go.
Okay.
By the time we get done with that, we might have to put it on.
Okay. So the order that we're going to start for the opening statements is random. It's not in the order in which you sat down. I will introduce you. We have Ernest Bells, Stephen Missick,
That's correct.
and Miss Janice Holt. Okay? So we'll start out with opening statement. If you can just hold your applause till the end, please, so we can kind of get through this. First, we'll have Stephen Missick. And you can sit there, or I can bring you the mic, whatever you want to do.
Thank you very much. I'm Stephen Missick. I pastor King of Saints Tabernacle in Cleveland, Texas. I live in Shepherd, Texas. And I've served in the military for 30 years. I got 2 combat deployments into Iraq. And I was on the border mission for 4 years. I think that's one of the biggest issues we're facing right now is the border. I guess that's one of the questions, so I'm going to talk about that more. But I think this is a very important election, and I'm glad that everybody's here today because I think our nation is in a very bad place, and we desperately need change. And that's how we're going to do it, is people getting organized and vote. And people need to get involved in the primary elections. A lot of people don't even know about the primary, just go and vote the popular vote. We need to go out and inform people and let people know how important it is to be involved and to vote. So I'm in Cleveland, but if you want to come and visit our church anytime, on 2228 FM 1725, and every Wednesday night we're praying for our nation. If you want to come and join us. I've lived in Shepherd for 30 years, and I've been a part of this community for a long time. So I'm from Liberty and San Jacinto County, and we have a lot of needs in these communities I'm aware of since I've lived here, and I want to go to Austin and take care of our people and be a servant of the people. So I guess I'll do it for now. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Just so you know, the timekeeper is right here on the corner. I'm sorry. Next is Ernest Bells.
Good afternoon. I tell you, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the East Montgomery County Republican Women, first and all, for hosting us, and also appreciate you guys caring enough to show up. So I'm our state representative. I have served in this capacity for 4 terms. 3 terms I had Liberty, San Jacinto, and Walker County. After redistricting, this district grew from 162,000 up to 195,000. Lost Walker County, was able to pick up 8% of Montgomery County, which is about 18,000 folks, and also Hardin County. So go all the way to the Beaumont city limits. We've got some of the most rural areas of the state. We also have some of the fastest growing areas of the state. The job that this is to listen and do what is best to represent the will of this district. Every vote that I take, I have to make sure I do my homework and I do absolutely what is best to represent this district. It's not what is beholden to big money elsewhere that tells me I have to vote this way because. That's not how this process is supposed to work. This is supposed to be grassroots, and I tell you, born and raised here, San Jacinto County, we go back about 6 generations, but also here in East Montgomery County, we go back a few generations. My great-grandfather, R.B. Tullis, the library over there, that was my great-grandfather. He also helped back in the day when they put this very facility in. So even though I was not raised here, this is still home, this is still family. I spent every Easter and every Christmas in my early life here in East Montgomery County. So it's been an honor to serve. I appreciate you guys, and God bless.
Good evening. My name is Janice Holt, and I live in Silsbee, which is in Hardin County. Thank you to the East Montgomery County Republican Women for hosting this event. And thank you to all of you who have come, some from farther distances away, and some of you live right here in the neighborhood. So thank you for coming out tonight. A little bit about me. By profession, I'm an educator. I taught school in Silsbee for 10 years. Then I went home to work with my husband from our business, and I've been doing that since about 2004. And then in 2014, I ran for the school board, and I've been on the school board for 10 years. And so it's funny, it was talked about grassroots. I've been a grassroots activist for almost 2 decades. I've been working within the Republican Party and within the Republican Women. I have served on every position in the Hardin County Republican Women. I've served several board positions in the Texas Federation of Republican Women, and also on several board positions on the National Federation of Republican Women. In fact, I had the distinct honor at our last convention to win the most volunteer hours for the state of Texas and for the nation, because Texas always leads the nation. So I was very honored, because I am a grassroots activist, and I knock doors, I campaign, I help work to get the most conservative priorities passed, as well as the most conservative candidates, and that's why I'm running. I feel like this district, House District 18, is the 3rd most Republican district, and we need a representative that will reflect that, and that's why I'm running, because I believe that my priorities and my conservative values best represent that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So again, before we begin with the questions, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the question, and then if there's a rebuttal, you'll have 30 seconds for the rebuttal if you choose to participate in that. So the first question is going to be to Ms. Holt, Janice Holt. The question is, what is your official position regarding school vouchers, and why is this your position?
Thank you. School choice is a very hot topic these days. You may be curious to know that we do have school choice in the state of Texas. We do have education savings account already in the state of Texas. To me, a voucher is free money, and I don't really believe in vouchers. I do believe, though, however, in education savings accounts, where we can empower our parents to move their children into a place where their education can be better enhanced. Not every child thrives in a public school location. Now, while we do this, I do believe, as you can tell, as being an educator and being on the school board, I do believe in our public schools, and I do believe that we need to support them and support our teachers. We must always make sure that they have a wage that is commensurate with what they're doing, and we need to make sure we focus on that. But at the same time, I believe that we need to make sure that our parents are empowered to be able to take their child and put them into a location, into a setting that will better benefit them.
No. Okay, then you'll respond next.
All right, thank you. Like Janice, I've also worked as an educator. I earned a doctorate, and while I was earning my doctorate, I needed flexibility, so I substituted, and I've taught every grade level from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, every subject you can think of. So I've got experience working in the classroom, in the schools, and I think that we need to create new alternatives in education. I want to let you know that I also worked in a Christian school. I believe that the biblical worldview, and I think we need to inculcate godly Christian values. So I support homeschooling, I support Christian schools. But working in the school system, there's certain schools that have challenges, and sometimes challenges in that school might prevent a child who has academic aptitude from achieving their very best. And I think this school choice empowers parents to make the best choices for their children. And that being said, like I said, I've worked in the public school, and I really appreciate the sacrifices that our teachers make. And I believe we should have school choice, but we need to maintain support for our public schools and public school teachers.
I do support school choice. I do not support vouchers. I have not any shape, form, or capacity. I tell you, that's why I'm in this race right now. I was told that I had to vote for vouchers because that was an agenda that an individual at the top of our party had. And I said, it's not good for our district. It's not fiscally conservative, and it's not responsible use of taxpayer dollars to private for-profit entities. It will increase our taxes. It also allocates a $10,200 stipend to every illegal who comes across our borders. A lot of people say, well, you know what, we'd like to be able to use it for our church school. The last thing that we need is our state government in our churches telling the curriculums that they're going to have to teach by and also have to test. Homeschooling, if you've got parents who truly love their kids and care, which that's not always the case, they can get education that's second to none. The last thing that they need is a state to come in and tell them what they will teach and they have to test. We also no longer have dropouts in the state of Texas. If you drop out of school, you become a homeschool student. You can have someone who is at home, in a very broken home, in a very tough situation, with multiple kids there, and they're going to receive a $10,200 stipend per kid. It's not fiscally responsible, it's not the best use of our funds to help get those kids out of that cycle of poverty.
All right, moving on to the next question. We'll start with Mr. Girls. With the recent state and federal issues regarding border security, what specific legislation can be enacted to improve border security, and how can this action be enforced?
Those of you guys that don't know, we were in session quite a bit this last time. It's supposed to be 140 days. It was 245 days. We passed the most robust border security bill that's ever been passed in the United States. We empowered our local law enforcement to enforce immigration. We allowed our county judges to issue deportation, and we also allowed our federal law enforcement to enforce state laws. Those sound really good, but they will not be effective under the current administration. We have to first make sure that we have a federal government and a federal administration that supports Texas closing our border. The amount of money that we're spending, we are having to fight tooth and nail against the federal government. They send federal government that tells us we cannot put razor wire, we cannot build a wall on our border. We've got to start at the very top, and that's why we have to vote. We put the laws in place, we put the finances in place. The problem is we should not be having to pay for that out of your tax dollars. That should come from the federal government. We have a lot of issues right here, right across the road as well. We would not have those issues if we didn't have a wide open southern border.
Do you need me to repeat it? The question? You're next.
I'm next? Okay. All right, as I was mentioning earlier, I served on President Trump's border mission. For 4 years, I served on Operation Secure Texas, Operation Guardian Support, Operation Lionheart, and now we have Operation Lone Star. And I've been across the border from Brownsville all the way to El Paso, pretty much every port of entry, all the ranch lands there. And I've seen policies that don't work, and I see policies that do. There are things that the state of Texas can do. I support a lot of what Governor Abbott's doing, but more can be done. I'm going to let everybody know there's two things you need to secure the border. Number one, build the wall. Working in those communities, they want wall down there. President Trump, Congress wouldn't work with him. He had to take money from the Pentagon, and also just use executive orders. And he was building wall in McAllen, and La Jolla's like, hey, that's not fair. Why are you building wall in McAllen and not here in La Jolla? This is those communities down there are over 90% Hispanic. This isn't a racial thing. They want security and safety. The other thing is they need to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. So I do appreciate what Governor Abbott's done. I think we should straight up declare an invasion. We've had 20 million illegal aliens come across our border in 3 years, and this is a crisis that our nation's facing, and I think with my unique experience I can address it.
Both of these gentlemen are correct. It is a federal issue, and the federal government, the Democrats, have failed in protecting our southern border. Texas is a sovereign state, and when the federal government fails, we must step up. Governor Abbott has done that. He has stepped up, but there is more to be done. When they cut the razor wire, I believe I heard Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick say we'll just roll more out. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep our border secure. It's not secure. We have to make it secure through the wall, through razor wire, through cameras, through any means that we can in order to secure our border. And I support Governor Abbott in that completely. You know, border security, we don't have to live in McAllen to experience the invasion. Many counties have declared an invasion, and I think we need to make sure that we understand that every county, just like every state is a border state, every county is a border county. And we have to make sure that things are in place to protect our citizens. And there's so much that we can do to protect our citizens here in House District 18. We have Colony Ridge that's encroaching on us more and more all the time. And if we don't get a handle on that, we're not going to recognize our House District, we're not going to recognize our state, we're not going to recognize our country. So I'll be standing side by side with Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, as we make these laws that will help on our border and secure it once and for all.
All right, so on to the next question. What do you see as the most pressing issue facing the 18th district, the district that you're running for, and what specific steps will you take to address them? Mr. Missick?
Yes, that's correct. Obviously, the biggest problem we have in this House district is Colony Ridge Terrain, Houston, that has to be addressed. I mean, there's like 70,000, mostly illegal aliens people. They're settled there, and it's expected to grow almost to 250,000. So it is going to change our district. It won't be the same anymore. And DOJ got involved, and they're saying that they're exploiting people there. That's not right. Now, I believe in border security. I work the border. I believe in immigration enforcement. But we shouldn't allow people, even though they're illegal, they need to be held accountable to the law. We shouldn't allow anybody to be exploited like that. So we need to help the people there. But what really concerns me, when I'm elected, what I want to do is, like, the drainage system's not up to code or standard. It's creating a huge flood zone. Look at reduceflooding.com, and you can see the satellite images, you can see helicopter photographs, and it's just ravishing our environment. And there's not enough fire hydrants out there. What if there's a wildfire? People could die. It could set the whole area on fire. And also the problem with the sewage. So there's a lot of practical ways we can address the situation in Colony Ridge, and we need to, because it's the biggest challenge that we're facing right now. Ms. Holt?
Thank you. I agree with Stephen that it is Colony Ridge, immigration, border security. That is the number one because it affects everything. It affects our county government. It affects our health care systems. It affects our the roads. Everything is affected by that. And the problems out there are bad, and it's huge. And it grew so fast to the size of Washington, D.C. And they're saying anywhere from 40 to 75,000 people out there, and of that 40 to 75,000, 60 to 70% are illegal. Now, it has nothing to do with nationalities. My daughter-in-law is from Mexico. She's coming to this country legally. I think we all are for legal immigration, but that's not the point. We have an overflowing system, and we have the school systems that are overflowed. Cleveland ISD has doubled in the last 6 years, gone from like 6,000 to over, I think they're over 13,000 now, and growing. Some are saying 10 kids a week. And so we have to make sure that we address that. I heard over the weekend that the only hospital in Cleveland is closing its doors because they can't do it. They're not making money because people are not paying. That's sad. Where are those people going to go? Where are the citizens of Cleveland going to go for their hospital if they need a hospital? Got to go down into Houston and down into Harris County, I'm assuming. So it is a bad problem, and things that we can do are practical things. One is quit selling land to illegals, period. We need to stop selling our land to someone from a foreign country. And there are ways within the system that we're able to regulate, that's already in the system set up, to make sure that these cash deals are not as running as rampant that's going on out in Colony Ridge, and they're not taking advantage of those people.
I agree 100%. Points that just got brought up, it all goes back to our open border. Our local impact that we see the most is right here at Colony Ridge. This was the very same platform that we sat here 2 years ago, and Colony Ridge was not mentioned. As I sat in Austin for 245 days, I didn't hear a single time from either of the individuals here, how can we help? It's just to politicize it. I put the only restrictions ever been placed out there. We have been working hand in hand with Liberty County to try to give them the tools to restrict this. We have issues with City of Plum Grove actually de-annexed the land because they didn't want to have to be responsible for the restrictions. Liberty County was issuing the permits, but they had no mechanisms to enforce those. I actually passed the most restrictive management district has ever been passed in the state of Texas. We also changed and we put 100%, we put local control there. You can do any management district, it goes right through TCEQ, 6 months it's passed. We changed that. We put it to where the 5 initial board of directors were proposed, they were all employees of the developer, not a single one lived right here. We actually changed that to where 2 of those were appointed by Commissioner's Court, 2 of those by Cleveland ISD, and only 1 by the developer. We put minimum road and building restrictions out there. We tried to do all we can to let Liberty County shut that down, and they did shut down the approval so that we can get that stopped. The problem is the federal government that is looking at predatory lending, we've already looked at that as a state twice, and we're trying to stop that. That's the same federal government that says we cannot put razor wire there and stop the border. They're not trying to help us. They're not trying to stop the issue. We have individuals at the very top that have taken $1.5 million directly from the developer, and that has been a roadblock, and that's a problem.
All right, excuse me. This, I believe, may be the last question. A little long. All right, so how do you plan to engage with and involve the community in decision-making processes, ensuring their voices are heard in the legislative process? Ms. Holt.
This is where I want to engage the most. I'm a talker, I'm a communicator, I'm a listener. I've been building relationships all my life in everything that I've done. And it's all about listening, it's all about taking into account the positions that other people have, weighing them against your own opinion, sharing those opinions back and forth. But the main thing is listening. Listening. Sometimes we don't know what's going on in someone else's world, and we have to be able to listen to them. So I have already started the process, but on March the 6th, I will gear it up once I am elected to have coalitions in every aspect, in our faith community, in our city and county governments, and then in the school community, and have those coalitions growing and doing the Zoom hearings with them, having live meetings, going to dinner, having snacks, whatever it is, getting together and listening and learning what's going on in their areas and see how best we can to make a change if we need to, or enhance it, or help them with any of their issues that they have going on in their communities. A city or an entity shouldn't have to beg for someone to listen to them. They just want to be heard. People just want to know that people care. And that's what I'll be all about once I'm elected. Thank you.
We'll continue doing the work that we're already doing. We've been very present the whole time. We've been right here. I've got Melanie Cotton, who's my district director. She has been very active here with the East Montgomery County Republican Women. There's not been a single bill which deals with a JP that I've not reached out to Judge Dunn and asked. If it deals with law enforcement, I reach out to Rowdy. I've met with Matt many times, infrastructure, drainage, and all of that. The worst thing that I can ever do is walk into a meeting and assume I know what it takes to get their job done, or ever think that I can do it better. I have to listen, ask them, and make sure that we address that. I have to spend more time killing legislation than passing it. Because this area, 195,000 people that I represent, just put it in perspective, I've got 17 school districts. HISD down there have 16 votes. Our areas here have 1/17 of a vote. They have 16 votes. I have to reach out, have that conversation. I tell you, that's what we've always done. Every elected official has my cell number. I sent out a letter to all the voters here. Do you guys have my cell number? No different. That's the same cell number I've had since I was 14. Call me. I will answer it, and I'll do all I can to help you. We're going to continue doing the job because that's what I was elected to do.
I think as an elected official, it's important for us to remember that we are supposed to be a servant of the people. And as I mentioned before, I have 2 deployments to Iraq. The first time I went to Iraq, I was carrying a weapon. And then I came back from that deployment, I went to seminary, and I went back as a chaplain. So half of my career was a combatant, and the second half I was a chaplain. And as a chaplain, it's about caring about your people, caring about my soldiers. So when I was on the border mission, I was serving as a capacity chaplain. That's what I was going out there doing, we call battlefield circulation. I want to know where all my soldiers are, what they're doing, and what their needs are. And that's what I did. I became the supervisory chaplain. I was responsible for the whole border, the chaplain program. And that's what I want to do as, if I've experienced in that. That's what the gospel of Jesus is all about, is caring about and loving other people. And that's what, even in political capacity, that's what we all need to be doing, is living out those Christian virtues.
Okay, so we're, like I said, running short on time, so we're not going to do the audience questions portion so they can get to where they're going to go. I did this a couple years ago. I made a mistake, and I'm not going to make it tonight. I let people throw a sucker punch at the end and walk out like a mic drop. So if someone does that, the other person is going to have an opportunity to respond during closing arguments. Because I got attacked by that candidate. He was very mad. And I understand why. But anyway, so we're going to start with closing. You'll have 2 minutes. We didn't pick an order. If you don't care, I don't care. You want to start at this end and work our way down? Okay, Mr. Bell.
This job is about service. That's what I've done. This is my home. It will always be my home. I sign no pledges to any outside group. I'm not beholden to anyone, with the exception of my family, my faith, and this very district. I worked really hard to build a successful business, and I've done so in a positive way. I will never tear down another individual just to gain a vote and get elected. We're better than that. Our people deserve that. I've got to make sure that the job that I do is a job that my 2 sons can be proud of. I can assure you this, every bill that comes across that I vote for, I've done the absolute best to do my homework, to make sure I understand that, to fix that bill if it needs to be fixed, to kill that bill if it needs to be killed, or to pass that bill if it needs to be passed, to do absolutely what is best to help this district, because that's the job we have to do. And that means also taking the hard votes. There's a lot of hard votes that we're in one right now. It's education. I killed the voucher bill in the state of Texas. There was an 80-page bill that came up at 9 o'clock at night. It had never been vetted. We had heard 5 voucher bills in committee, and they never put a single one up for a vote. We did a procedural move, first time in 37 years, because it was the wrong way to do it. Sunshine is the best disinfectant. We have to make sure people understand what we're doing. We owe it to you guys, and we have to make sure that something we vote on is the right thing to vote on. So if that means taking the hard shots, having my name drugged through the mud in mailers and texts, I will take that shot because that's the commitment I took. It is an honor to serve you guys. I appreciate that and look forward to the opportunity to serve you guys again.
One of the basic duties of a government is to keep people safe. The open border isn't safe. And one night I came to Cleveland. My home is in Shepherd, but that night I was come to our church, had a late night at the church. And we have Saturday services. Any day is a good day to worship the Lord. But so I'm not against Sunday services. We happen to have Saturday services. In the morning, someone said, "You hear there's a killer on the loose." So that night, just a couple of miles from the church at Trails Inn, there was a hardened killer trying to kill babies, killing little boys, women, a man, men, women, and he's running amok for a full week. And I feel like that man was obviously a cartel. He was shooting people assassination style and killing them. What attracted this dangerous person to our community? Probably Colony Ridge. So it's becoming where we're not safe in this community, so more needs to be done to bring that under control and to hold people behind that accountable, because they're making our community unsafe and they're exploiting people. We're all created in the image of God, and we shouldn't allow or turn the other way from sex trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking. We have to stand up and hold people accountable and work to keep everybody safe.
Thank you again to the East Montgomery County Republican Women for hosting this event, and I apologize that we're not going to be able to hang around and talk. I do have a representative over at my table that will be there if you have any questions. This election is a Republican primary, and it's about electing the candidate that will fight hardest for those Republican values. I've been doing that for almost 2 decades, fighting for our Republican values. We have a platform, we have priorities, and I feel like my experience will be the best at being your next state representative to fight for those priorities. I never shy away from a fight. I never stop working. It is incumbent upon us as representatives to be in touch with the district, to make sure that they know what we're thinking and I know what you're thinking, so that I can make the best decision for our district. Again, we are the 3rd most Republican district in this state, and we need a representative that will fight for those priorities and for those Republican values. I ask for your vote. Janice Holt. You can go to my website, holtfortexas.com. I've been endorsed by Governor Abbott, Senator Ted Cruz, Attorney General Ken Paxton, and the Ag Commissioner Sid Miller. They see that I am a conservative Republican, and they have gotten onto my campaign, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you for your time.
Okay, that wraps it up for the candidates for the House District 18. I appreciate the way they handled it. They did a very professional job, and people going to danger. Thank you.
Let's all join in as we begin the victory.